Hello everyone, I'm Alan Mishkulnik here at GolfTech in Singapore. I'm a GolfTech certified coach and a Stack and Tilt certified instructor. This is the first video that I'm uploading to my YouTube channel. I hope you find it informative, find it interesting. If so, give me the thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you're interested in seeing the videos that I intend to upload in the near future. The topic I'd like to talk about today is the extent to which a golfer tilts during the golf swing. I'll be talking about the rates at which a golfer should be tilting, or the rates at which professionals tilt during the different phases of the golf swing. I'll also cover misconceptions that currently exist, particularly amongst amateurs, and finally round things off with a few drills that you guys can use at home in order to address the issue of tilting properly during your golf swing. So what are we talking about when we talk about tilting during the golf swing? What we are in fact referring to is the sideward bending of the body throughout the course of the entire golf swing. So this would be left tilt or left sideward bend, and this would be right tilt or right sideward bend. So in our backswing, there is an element of left tilt, and in our downswing and into our follow through, we then move into right tilt. So if I took my backswing, you'll see that it's not just turning, but there's also a tilt component. So this is actually what we're talking about when we talk about tilting. Okay, so what is the purpose of tilting during your golf swing? So I would say they are threefold. So the first reason why I want to tilt is because tilting represents an upwards force of your swing. So if I tilt, you can see that my arms are automatically moving upwards without me having to lift my arms actively. Okay, so this helps me get my arms more upwards, which in turn helps me create power. Okay, the second reason why I would want to tilt is because tilting helps me maintain my inclination to the ground. So my inclination to the ground is predefined by or preset by my setup position, my forward bend. Then this translates into side bend in my backswing. So you can see if my forward bend translates into the equivalent amount of side bend, then my inclination stays stable. So maintaining a stable inclination helps me manage the lowest point of my swing arc more efficiently. So if an amateur, for example, raised his head, thereby losing his inclination upwards, then he would have to regain his inclination, his downswing, which means he would be lowering his head, which is very difficult to coordinate in terms of where the lowest point of that swing arc is. Equally, if an amateur lost his inclination downwards, so he tilted too much, he would have to back out and find his original inclination. A third misconception of how to take your backswing in terms of inclination, in terms of tilt, would be a player turning with level shoulders. Right? So if you turn with level shoulders, turning over your right side, that will mean that your shoulders would level out, and then you would lose your inclination. Certainly you wouldn't maintain or achieve an inclination, a tilt of 36 degrees, which is what the very best players do. And that would again mean difficulty in managing your low point. And the third reason why I would recommend maintaining your tilt is that it helps you respect the geometry of your swing. And this again helps you swing your hands and your club around your spine in a circle. So there's been a vast amount of testing that's been carried out in the last few years, and we've had the benefit of 3D motion measurement also here at GolfTech. And if we just look at the numbers and what we've discovered in terms of what the best players in the world do, at address, on average, the very best players would be tilted with their shoulders 11 degrees to the right, and at address, their hips would be tilted 0 degrees. So very level. Then, during the course of their backswing, reaching the top of their backswing, their shoulder tilt will turn into 36 degrees left tilt, and 12 degrees hip tilt to the left. Then they would transition into the downswing, and towards impact, 36 degrees left tilt would then turn into 39 degrees right tilt, and the hips would be on average tilted 12 degrees to the right as well. And then finally, in the end position, the shoulders would retain an element of right tilt, 9 degrees right, and the hips would have 6 degrees of right tilt. Okay, so this is what the very best players would do. Obviously, amateurs would deviate from this, and we would see the numbers not quite in this region. So why don't we go hit a few balls and just have a look at the numbers and compare them and see how all of that works and fits in together. Okay, so I'm wearing the motion measurement now. The motion measurement sensors, one between my shoulders, one at the back of my hips. It's going to measure my tilt when I carry out a couple of swings, and then we'll have a quick discussion on what we see and what the numbers actually tell us. Okay, so the first swing that I'm going to do is a normal one, where I try to maintain my tilts as well as I can. Okay, so that was my normal swing. Now I'm going to carry out a swing where I try to lose my inclination, try to go up a bit, and we'll just compare the two swings and have a look at what we can see. Okay, everybody, why don't we have a look at those two swings together? So on the right side, you can see my swing as I would normally carry it out, trying to maintain my inclination to the ground as best as I can. So here's my backswing, and at the top of my backswing, a couple of things to observe. My head has stayed in the green box, so I've maintained my inclination pretty well, and my left tilt is at 42 degrees. So slightly high, but still green. Tour average would be 36 degrees. If we look at the left swing, where I deliberately tried to raise my head, lose my inclination, you'll see that my head leaves the box, and at the top of my backswing, I've raised my upper body, my head has left the box, and my left tilt is at 22 degrees. And as I've already alluded to before, if we see amateur players leaving the box with their heads or losing their inclination, then they would have to try to find it again in a downswing, which I'm attempting to do, but it is a coordinative task and very difficult to achieve, which is the reason why I thin the ball and slightly shank it. So contact suffered, my low point control suffered. Whereas on the right hand side, on the right swing, because my head didn't leave the box and I maintained my inclination in my backswing, in my downswing, I don't have to find the box again. My head is centered, which in turn allows me to control the lowest point of my swing arc better and produce more solid contacts. All right, guys, so how can we ensure that you actually do maintain your inclination to the ground? So I got a couple of pointers, maybe one drill as well that I do like to apply and recommend to my students. So first thing, if you maintain inclination to the ground well, your left shoulder should be moving in a slight circular motion under your chin. So what I like to say is get that left shoulder moving underneath your chin, or in stack and tilt terms, we would also say shoulder down. So make sure that that left shoulder, if you're maintaining a tilt, is moving underneath, moving down, moving underneath your chin. So that would be a good visual, a good feel. Alternatively, if you need something more specific, then my favorite drill is head against the wall drill, which is basically positioning your head against the wall. And when you take your backswing, you need to make sure that your forehead doesn't leave the wall. So say if you lost your posture, moved away, raise your upper body, then your forehead wouldn't be touching the wall anymore. So keep your forehead, position your head against the wall, carry out your backswing, and it should feel to you, if you are someone who loses posture, it should feel like you're tilted leftwards more excessively than you otherwise would be accustomed to. Okay, everybody, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you found it interesting and informative. If you did, I would appreciate it if you gave me the thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel as I look to upload more videos in the near future. Thanks a lot, and bye from Singapore.